Welcome to United Unitarian Universalist Congregation. There is no joy in Mudville today. Very good, very good. Somebody always wins. This is right. Great. My name is Reverend David Kraemer, minister here at this church, helping with today's service, Alex Chilson, our musician, Aaron Hurwitz, our tech, and we have a special guest speaker today, Stephanie Davis, whom we will hear from in a little bit. There's a lot going on. I hope you were paying attention to the announcements scroll. A couple of things to lift up. The first thing is the chairlift is out of order. The chairlift is not working right now, so getting downstairs for some of you may be difficult or impossible. I'm sorry. Repairman will be here on Wednesday, and we'll get it back up and running. It's a casualty of the power outage. Next week will be our baked potato potluck. There's a sign-up sheet downstairs. Please pay attention. And then on February 4th, this is a new plan, just hatched. We're going to go sledding at Horeb Springs Park. That's a Sunday, so I'm thinking 3 o'clock, okay, so that there's a little bit of time. You can get home and change clothes and things, and we'll gather at Horeb at about 3 o'clock. We'll sled until we can't stand it anymore, and then we'll come back here for pizza and have some time together here at the church, okay? So watch for more on that, but anyway, February 4th. Abby Marquin has her lecture coming up on Native American history and present, so please pay attention to that. Some of you may be curious about a memorial service for Seratonis, who died just before Christmas. We've been in contact with her family and are making arrangements. There are some extenuating circumstances to getting her niece and her nephew, who are the only two surviving family members now, getting them here. So I don't have a date for you yet, but stay tuned. We will have a memorial service scheduled soon. You probably saw a note that went out with the announcements this week on masking. We are once again surging in all kinds of respiratory diseases, including COVID. And so you are strongly encouraged to mask as you are comfortable and to keep yourself and everyone around you safe. Okay? Today is a bit of a do-over. We canceled last week, as you know, because of the storm. So we will celebrate Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Sunday today instead. It's a little late, but we will be also inspired by the justice work of Sophia, which is never too late. I want to begin with a poem we offered at the solstice celebration, and so some of you may have heard this, but when I originally planned this service a week ago, this one struck. On the Necessity of Snow Angels for the Well-Being of the World by Grace Butcher. Wherever there is snow, I go, making angels along the way. Luckily, angels have no gender and are easier to make than you might think. All you have to do is let go. Fall on your back. Look up at the sky as if in prayer. Move your arms like wings. Move your legs to make a robe. Rise carefully so as to do no harm, and walk away. All the angels along the path behind you will sparkle in the sunlight, gleam under the stars. In spring, the angels will be invisible, but really they are still there. Their outlines remain on the earth where you put them, waiting for you and for the snow to return. Keep walking toward the next beautiful thing you will do. Now, let's see. Desi, would you come up and help us light our chalice today? As we do so, please join me in words we say each week. May this flame kindle with us the warmth of compassion, the glow of love, the fire of commitment, and the light of truth. Here together we scatter and nurture seeds of spirit, service, and community. Let's sing together. Hymn number 57 in your gray hymnals, if you have them, or here on the wall, All Beautiful, the March of Days. Please rise in body or spirit.
Seasons come and go. The hand that shaped the rose hath wrought the crystal of the snow, hath sent the hoary frost of heaven, the flowering waters sealed, and laid a silent loveliness on hill and wood and field, o'er white expanses sparkling clear the radiant morns unfold, the solemn splendors of the night burn brighter through the cold. Life mounts in every throbbing vein, love deepens round the hearth, and clearer sounds the angel hymn, goodwill to all on earth. O thou from whose unfathomed law the year in beauty flows, thyself the vision passing by in crystal and in rose, day unto day doth utter speech, and night to night proclaim, in ever-changing words of light, the wonder of thy name.
Each week we share joys and sorrows, bits and pieces of our individual lives, what's on our hearts. If you have something to share, I would invite you to come forward, speak into the microphone, tell us your name, what's on your mind, take a stone from the bowl, and when you are finished, place it in the bowl with the water, and let the ripples carry your concerns out to the wider community.
Hello, everyone. I'm so good to be back here again. My name is Peter. I've been here in a while. I do recall the last time I was here, this woman wrote a book on Everything's Connected. It was so nice, in fact, that I bought the book and I shared it with my kids at the school I work at. So I was so delighted to be there. I don't remember when that was. Before, maybe a month or two, a couple months ago, I think so. It was so good and beautiful and poetic, entertaining and lovely. But anyways, in lieu of that, I'm so happy to be here with everybody in this community. And I was like, this morning I hurt my leg. I'm like, oh man, I can't make it. What am I gonna do? So I took a hot bath, had some Epsom salts, and okay, I can go just on time. All right. And then I go and I'm here, and I'm gonna be the last one there, and then it's gonna be crazy. And I kind of was, but yeah. So it's kind of weird standing. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm kind of an entertainer on the side, but I like talking in front of people. At my clinic, I work as a therapist. And anyways, I love this gentleman over here. I forgot your name, sir. Alex. Let's give a round of applause to Alex. Alex, yeah, on the piano man, jazz man. All right. Yeah, I always wanted to learn piano. But anyways, I'll stop talking. It's so nice to be here in the warmth, loving community we call Waukesha. Thanks so much.
I'm so proud. I'm thankful for my tooth comes out.
Hi, I'm Sally. One beautiful thing about this weather is I went snowshoeing yesterday, and it was a winter wonderland, and we literally bushwhacked in the woods, and it was so awesome, and I highly recommend it. If anybody has snowshoes, you can call me up. I'd be happy to do it with you.
Two things. So, like 2 weeks ago, I want to say, I told you guys my dad left for Greece, and now he's back, and he got me some really cool stuff. But I also really missed him, and I got to skip school to be able to go to Chicago and get him. And then yesterday was my second swim meet, and I did really well. I did a ton of butterfly, and I really hate butterfly. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Michael. I've told you guys earlier about the crane with one broken wing, and it's still around. It comes every day. Now sometimes it goes on my deck because it faces south and it gets warm there, so it stands there for a couple hours eating seed. And I have like 30 turkeys, so it's really hard to feed the crane because the turkeys come and they just gobble everything. And I have 5 deer that come almost every day. So it's like a zoo at my house, except that my daughter has 11 deer in her backyard, right in the middle of Elkhorn, so I can't, she's doing better than me. But the other thing that's kind of exciting is the crane can fly about 20 feet, barely off the ground, but he flaps those wings, or she, and he manages to get off the ground. So I'm amazed that he's still around, but I'm pretty happy.
Hello, I'm Declan. I'm just asking for warm wishes and good thoughts for all the students who started classes on Thursday. We're trudging through snow and cold to get to our classes.
My name is Isabel, and I have joy, and that is that my class is going to go to like the simulation of what real life is. So I'll get to like buy stuff, and I have like a job there for a day, and it should be really fun.
Good morning, I'm Adele. I have something that could be a joy or a sorrow. I was in charge of the coffee this morning, and I don't drink coffee, and I don't know how to use the coffee pots. So either way, it could be a joy or a sorrow.
Okay, it's always an adventure. I'll place one last stone for all those joys and sorrows that remain unspoken, but on our hearts and minds. Let's sing together, Walking with You.
Walking with you, walking with you is our prayer.
So I have a story, as always, and this is an oldie but a goodie, and it fits so well this week, this snowy day. One winter, One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen through the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out like this. And he walked with his toes pointing in like this. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. And he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. It was a stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Down fell the snow, plop, on top of Peter's head. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight. But he knew he wasn't old enough, not yet. So he made a smiling snowman. And he made snow angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great big tall heaping mountain of snow and slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow and another and still another. He packed it round and firm, and he put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. And he thought and thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all of the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere. New snow was falling. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. That's my story. Children might leave right now with Abby and I think with Alyssa. And we'll have some time for class. Let's sing them out.
Go lift it up, love bless your way, moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day.
So this has been a strange winter. On December 31st, New Year's Eve, I spotted for the first time this season a pair of goldeneye on the Fox River, where I walk regularly. Goldeneye are wild ducks and migratory, not like the popcorn mallards that make Waukesha home year-round, but they are a winter hardy breed, and their definition of flying south sometimes means no further than southeastern Wisconsin. In fact, I have seen several pairs winter over on the Fox now for several years. But that was the first time that I had spotted them this year, this winter, which is late. For months now, they had been absent. I had been wondering whether there was some bit of crash in the population, some bit of duck news that I was once all about, but now had somehow missed. But no, apparently it's just been too warm. They have felt no need to find more open water wherever they have been. Then finally, there they were, one pair, 30 degrees, no snow, open water. Earlier that week, 2 days after Christmas, I was at our cabin, and instead of digging out from a snowbank, I spent the day raking leaves and cleaning out the gutters. Temps reached the 40s. The new lilac I had planted this summer, now bare for winter, was starting to bud. Mary says that can't be good. Here at church, a warm December maybe helped a bit. We enjoyed strong participation from adults and children alike on an owl hike at Retzer Nature Center, and then again at solstice when we slogged through a little mud on Harvey and Heidi Wolk's farm to circle around the fires. Christmas Eve, too, saw a packed sanctuary. And then came last week. Winter in all its glory came down like a hammer. Power lines sagged and fell. Traffic stopped for a day. Sounds became softer, muffled. It was beautiful and deadly. There was plenty of snow to make snow angels if you could actually move your arms and legs in the cold. One thing I like about the poem we read at the beginning of the service is the idea that the angels in the snow stay there even when the temperatures rise and the snow disappears. Sometimes it feels as if my best efforts just melt away. But no, the poem assures me they have not disappeared any more than the golden eye. I just have to wait for the migration, for the return of the snow. And I have to keep making angels. If there is a lesson here in this celebration of the life and work of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it is that the path is long. From the Talmud, do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love mercy now. Walk humbly now. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. Snow is luck, says a line from a book I read a long time ago. So long that I've forgotten the title. I just remember that line. Snow is luck. In this time of dormancy, may we find rest. May we linger over holiday cards and the news of far-flung friends and relatives. May we hold in our hearts all those who have gone. And may we carry within us an undying bud of hope. Each week we take up a collection. It is a part of what it takes to sustain this church, this community, this sense that we have of being together. Once a month, we also share our plate with a community partner, an organization that shares with us a sense of mission. Today's plate will be shared with Sherman Phoenix, which was birthed in 2016 after a police shooting of an unarmed black man in Milwaukee. The Sherman Phoenix Foundation transformed a fire-damaged bank building into a hub for 27 black-owned businesses in a community space that embraces talent and innovation and inspires new narratives for our future. Please give generously. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have been 95 years old today had he not died. It will have been 56 years this year since he was assassinated in Memphis. This is the 41st year we have celebrated his life and work with a national holiday. And here we are, with diversity, equity, and inclusion programs being shut down across the nation, with white Christian nationalism on the rise, with universities under attack for their scholarship on race and culture, with candidates for the presidency from the party of Lincoln, no less, whitewashing history and suggesting that the Civil War might simply have been negotiated. Those same voices calling now for a new civil war. Over what? The arc of the universe is indeed long. The arc of that particular quote, which Dr. King used many times in speeches and in writing, is itself even longer, reaching back to 1853, to a sermon published by Reverend Theodore Parker, Unitarian and a fervent abolitionist. In that sermon of justice and the conscience, Parker writes, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but a little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure it bends toward justice." Embedded in Parker's version is some particularly Unitarian theology, the value of experience and the sensual apprehension of the world, the primacy of the conscience, and an emphasis on justice. In both Parker's and King's words is a fundamental message of hope. Parker, who led riotous marches through the streets in support of abolition and who helped fund John Brown's raid and slave rebellion at Harper's Ferry, penned this sermon just 10 years before Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. King, who included this line in a speech in March of 1965, on the same day that Viola Liuzzo, a Unitarian Universalist, was killed by the Ku Klux Klan for attending King's rally. He would see President Lyndon Johnson sign the Voting Rights Act in August of the same year. So it does indeed bend toward justice. A little more context on that speech from Dr. King. It is often known as the "how long, not long" speech, among his most important, along with "I have a dream" and "I have been to the mountaintop." It was delivered on the steps of the state capitol in Montgomery, Alabama, following the completion of the Selma to Montgomery March. He says, in part, "I know you are asking today, how long will it take? Somebody's asking, how long will prejudice blind the visions of men? I come say to you this afternoon, however difficult the moment, however frustrating the hour, it will not be long, because truth crushed to earth will rise again. How long? Not long, because no lie can live forever. How long? Not long, because you shall reap what you shall sow. How long? Not long, because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." Once again, Dr. King is prescient. No lie can live forever. You shall reap what you sow. Sometimes when it seems like you don't have a snowball's chance. For myself, what I believe is that the moral arc bends when we humans make it bend. When we pay attention to conscience, pay attention to each other and the world around. and sometimes it takes a long time. But it's just like snow angels. Apart from the mystery of their indelible impact on the earth, they keep coming back, only because the next time it snows, someone waves their arms, they move their feet, and they're careful to do no harm. It also helps to look up at the sky and pray. The legacy of Dr. King is carried on by the work that we do, especially through organizations like Sophia, stewards of prophetic, hopeful, intentional action. We are a long ways away. I just lost my screen. We're a long ways away from seeing the dream that Dr. King had. My, that's the first time that happened. Sophia works as a collaboration of organizations, faith groups, and collections of individuals who focus their efforts through task forces aimed at particular issues. Sophia's current portfolio includes task forces on immigration, criminal justice, housing, healthcare, and transit. A couple of months ago, in a social justice meeting, we thought that one way of strengthening our own work with Sophia would be to hear directly from some of the task forces about their on-the-ground work. So today, as an extension of the work led by Dr. King and even Theodore Parker before him, we've invited Stephanie Davis, who serves on the Housing Task Force, to come speak with us. There is a direct link along the arc in this. At roughly the same time that Dr. King was marching in Alabama, Father James Groppe and members of the NAACP Youth Council were marching across the 16th Street Viaduct in Milwaukee in support of open housing. Overt policies enforcing segregation are now against the law. But still we are living in a segregated society where economics, infrastructure, prejudice, and racism still form a barrier. Stephanie has been on the Housing Task Force for a little over a year now. She became co-chair in May 2023, and she says she has an inherent sense of justice and seeks to find ways to make the world a better place for all of us, not just a fortunate few. In her personal career, she has done social work, helping unhoused individuals navigate the system, rebuild their lives. She recently started a position at the Metropolitan Milwaukee Fair Housing Council, investigating allegations of housing discrimination and designing systemic fair housing tests and projects. Now, here to tell us about the Housing Task Force in Sophia, Stephanie.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here with all of you. I feel not worthy to be mentioned in the same sentence with Dr. Martin Luther King, but I do my best. I first wanted to talk a little bit about what Sophia Housing Justice Task Force is currently working on, what our vision is. We're trying to create a new narrative about affordable housing, reflecting the root cause of homelessness. And I just want to mention that poverty is the most significant cause of homelessness. We also want to ensure housing opportunities for people of all income levels in Waukesha County and what the value is in that. We're working on developing strategic partnerships and collaboration with housing affordability and opportunity stakeholders. We work on presenting a series of housing forums about thriving communities that offer a wide range of housing, economic, social, and civic opportunities. We're working locally to mitigate barriers so that more landlords are willing to accept tenants with housing choice vouchers. And we're trying to hold local leaders accountable for the planning and development of affordable housing units. And the reason why the work is so important is some of the challenges that are facing families in Waukesha County is that housing costs are so high they are beyond the reach of many. The median value of homes in Waukesha County is the highest in Wisconsin, while the county's median rent is second in the state only to Dane County. Many occupations that count large numbers of workers in manufacturing, healthcare, construction, and other sectors do not pay enough to afford the county's median rent, and particularly the median cost of buying a home. Rent burden affects 43.4% of renter households in Waukesha County. That means people are spending at least 30% of their income on rent and utilities, exceeding the statewide rate. The rental market landscape is so much different today, even than when I was in the market for an apartment in 2017. Most apartments have application fees that can range from $20 to $50, and they're not refunded even if your application is not approved. Now, more often than not, there's an administrative fee that is non-refundable, needed just to hold and secure the apartment, and that's in addition to a security deposit. So that's something you're never getting back. And lower income families do not have the money to spend on these applications and costs trying to just secure an apartment. Housing prices are rising faster than incomes. The median sale price of homes in Waukesha County increased by 41% between 2016 and 2021, while the median household income of the county only increased by 14%, or 15%, excuse me. The minimum wage really has been the same since 2009, and in Waukesha County, you would need to make $24 an hour to afford just a two-bedroom apartment. Home prices have increased further since 2021, while interest rates have risen. These conditions have made home ownership difficult to achieve for many seeking to purchase homes in Waukesha County. Stark racial disparities in home ownership rates exist in Waukesha County. In 2021, the home ownership rate for Black households was even lower statewide, 25.7%, than in Waukesha, 30.3%, while nationally, the Black home ownership rate was notably higher, 42.7%. Very little affordable rental housing has been built in the last decade. Between 2013 and 2023, only 3 developments in the county, which totaled 176 affordable units, were supported with federal or state low-income housing tax credits, which typically are needed to finance affordable rental housing developments. According to the Wisconsin Housing and Economic Development Authority, no low-income housing tax credit applications have been made for projects in the county since 2019. Just to compare, 71 such developments were awarded tax credits in Milwaukee County in the last decade, supporting more than 41,000 affordable units. 4,100 affordable units. Another way that has been given to help lower income families pay their rent is with the help of vouchers. Individuals and families can apply for vouchers, also known as Section 8, that will help them pay a portion of their rent. Unfortunately, it takes years to get a voucher, and then a family or individual has 120 days to find a landlord willing to accept the voucher. In Milwaukee, an ordinance was passed in 2018 banning landlords from discriminating families using a voucher, but even there, they're having a really hard time enforcing it and getting landlords to take families with vouchers. In Waukesha County, we do not have that type of ordinance, and landlords advertise that they don't take vouchers. I have worked with individuals struggling for years to get a voucher, only needing to get another job instead of even utilizing the voucher because it was impossible to find anybody to accept the voucher. One family spent $1,275 on 50 applications trying to find a landlord that would accept the voucher before it expired. And limited voucher acceptance really maintains segregation. Voucher recipients of color are more likely to live in minority-concentrated neighborhoods than other low-income renters of color, and less likely to live in high-opportunity neighborhoods, according to the 2019 Center on Budget and Policy Priorities analysis of the county's 50 largest metro areas. Throughout the Milwaukee metro area, 85% of families of color holding vouchers lived in minority-concentrated neighborhoods, areas where just 38% of rental units were considered voucher affordable. Zoning regulations also limit the variety of housing that can be produced and impact housing cost. Some Waukesha County municipalities restrict developers from building smaller homes on smaller lots. Though zoning regulations are not the sole driver of lot size, new lots in Waukesha County tend to be large, which adds to the total cost of homes. Many Waukesha County municipalities also prohibit duplexes and multifamily housing developments in most areas in their communities. They bar the construction of accessory dwelling units or impose excessive parking requirements on multifamily housing that adds to the cost of each unit. Public opposition also poses a major obstacle in affordable housing and workforce housing development. There's often a disconnect between market demand and community preference. Developers commonly propose denser mixed-income housing because they want a variety of products to sell to potential buyers, or because larger multifamily buildings are needed to make projects work financially. Community members, however, frequently oppose such development. This can cause delays, increased costs, or derail projects entirely. So, what can be done about some of these issues? There can be zoning changes that allow for greater density, and that could help to produce more affordable and varied housing options. This could include for allowing smaller homes on smaller lots, as the city of Oconomowoc has done recently, eliminating its minimum lot size and floor area requirements. It could permit duplexes in district zone for single-family housing, allowing for more multifamily housing developments in more places, including commercial districts, permitting accessory dwelling units, and reducing and eliminating minimum parking requirements for multifamily housing units. Expediting and permitting and development approval processes could also reduce housing costs modestly. The time it takes for proposed developments to get through municipal permitting and approval processes adds considerably to total project cost. Local governments or the state could consider setting limits on the time municipalities can take for these approvals. Funding strategies are also needed to support affordable and workforce housing developments and associated infrastructure. Multifamily housing development designed for low and moderate income households typically requires some public funding support to work financially. New and expanded public education efforts may be needed to raise awareness about the need for additional housing to accommodate current and prospective residents and workers. Given the frequency of community opposition to proposed housing developments in general and affordable housing specifically, more public education is needed about the county's rising housing costs, the challenges current and prospective residents face, and how this issue is impacting area employers and the county's overall economic health. While local governments can do more to help foster housing affordability in Waukesha County, the state of Wisconsin could also play a role, and in June 2023, Governor Evers did sign a bipartisan package of housing bills into law. 3 of the signed bills created zero or low interest loan programs to support building, renovating, and making infrastructure improvements for affordable workforce and senior housing developments. But given the wide range of impacts this issue has on residents, local governments, and area employers, strong public and private sector engagement, leadership, and collaborations will be critical. This is a very complex problem, and we really need a strategic and focused plan to resolve it.
So we have a allowed some time for questions. Anybody have any thoughts, reflections, questions for Stephanie or for anything that we've talked about this morning? Jeff?
What is it we can do as a congregation to assist Sophia in this project?
Okay, so the question is, what can we as a congregation do to assist Sophia in this project?
Well, we're always looking for new members, and there's always a chance to go to public hearings when they're considering developments. Like recently, there was the Bishop's Flats in Brookfield, where that was kind of in the news about things that the alderman said. We need to have more voices on the side encouraging and promoting and seeing the value in housing instead of just hearing the opposing view.
And again?
Yes, David, what then do you think that our next art meeting should focus on this?
So Jeff's question is whether our anti-racism change team should focus on this at its next meeting. I think that's a question for the team, and you can certainly bring that to the floor, Jeff.
Okay, Marshall, what do you think?
Wait for the meeting. Stuart.
How would the Great Lakes Path affect trying to increase density if Waukesha, as the city, has a limitation onto in expanding its footprint in terms of getting water to those communities?
I'm not sure I can repeat all of that back, but how would the Great Lakes Pact affect the city of Waukesha in getting water to,
Because Waukesha can't grow
right,
beyond its boundaries because of the Great Lakes Pact in terms of providing water to that community.
right. So our size is now limited by the source of our water, right? Okay.
I'm not sure how to answer that question exactly. I do think that there's things that can be done with like the tax credits or different things. I mean, Waukesha County in general versus the city of Waukesha. Are you referring more to the city of Waukesha? Yes. Versus which I'm speaking of Waukesha County as a whole, you know?
Yeah, I think we can get beyond the city into the county as well with some policy changes. Carrie.
Just tag team here. Stuart, are you suggesting that the limited space in the city has for water is a leverage to do away with the rules about how big your lot has to be?
Yeah. Did you catch that? So the fact that we are limited in how far the city can grow might be a lever to increase or to actually decrease lot sizes so we could get more people, more housing units in the city. Is that what you're saying, Carrie?
Yeah, I thought maybe that's what Stuart was. I think it's a great idea.
Right?
Yeah. Good. Others?
Can you expand on the laws that were passed, the regulations that were passed by the governor regarding the 0% voucher? Did I misunderstand that?
Question is on the governor's bill, the bill signed by the governor that would expand vouchers.
I don't think that had to do anything with vouchers. It's zero or low interest loan programs to support building, renovating, and making infrastructure improvements for affordable, housing.
Who does that go to? Does that go to the contractors or the individuals?
Well, I know like Welcome Home, like a Welcome Home Wisconsin one that went directly to people in like minority groups and like most segregated Milwaukee. It's more for the Milwaukee County, and that went directly to people like in protected classes or a minority where they could get a certain amount of money, and the loan they could get was a lower interest rate to help make it more equitable for them to have a house. But I'm not sure exactly in this scenario.
Do we have a question over here? No? Okay.
I did, but I lost my friend.
You're in the right place, you know? You'll fit right in. Stuart. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm happy to see that the Habitat and Humanity is working on a law near our house. Just curious if you could comment on sort of just the community's appetite for Habitat for Humanity and those kind of programs. Are you seeing that's generally well received, or just in general? I know for me it always seems like it's going too slow, like just with the work that Habitat does.
Right, like the need is so much greater than the demand. I think that Habitat for Humanity has a really great reputation, and people have seen like some of but even that, they kind of are keeping them to a certain area, and like the list is super long to try to get a house. I mean, there's just like not enough. And in general, people, there's still NIMBYism, if you're familiar with that, not in my backyard, where a lot of people come out with these unfounded concerns about what's going to happen that just really the data doesn't support. So it's just not, we want to try to work with like the landlords on the vouchers, because all of these things take time, and it's going to take time to build units to, so if we could get more people to be willing to accept the vouchers and things like that, so.
Yes.
So you're saying like Section 8, two things when I Section 8, because I work in Milwaukee, but I live in Waukesha, but Section 8, the wait list again on Section 8, and then, the amount of, you said the need, or the demand is much higher than the availability or whatever, So like in Waukesha, I'm just not aware of that, like, it's a different county, of course, Milwaukee County, Waukesha County, of course, but vouchers, I'm just wondering like how vouchers and Section 8 are different entities, right?
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. There is some properties designated that are specifically, but like that person still has to have a voucher, and Section 8 and vouchers are very similar, where it pays a portion of their rent.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Right. But they're similar, but they're not. Yeah. They're different. Okay. Yeah. I just know like I work with social workers, and like just getting information from you would help me like in my line, like where I have, and if there's a clinic here, but it'd be nice to get your card for resources and stuff, make it bigger.
Yeah.
Marvelous. Ellen, let's take one more question and then we'll go on.
It's a little bit of a follow-up. I mean, the complication with vouchers is the problem is many landlords, as Stephanie said, they won't accept them. Yeah, so it's lovely if you have one because it's portable. It stays with you, the tenant, not the unit. The problem is landlords are unaccepting of them.
Yeah, the response is that even if you have a voucher, that landlords in this county are reluctant to take them, will refuse you.
Well, I think sometimes, I don't even like to say the things that are not true, but a lot of times it's like just that one person has a bad situation with somebody, and that gets spread around that, people with vouchers, they don't take care of the place, or they don't, and that's not really true, or they think like it's so much paperwork, I don't want to deal with it, but it's not really, I mean, they just haven't tried, and they don't need to, I guess, in a way. They don't have to try to even work. There's so much need for it, and there's people that are paying these really high prices for rent, so they just don't want to bother with it, even though it would really be a service to the community.
So it seems to me that changing the attitudes of the landlords is a huge part.
Right.
Changing attitudes.
Right.
Of the
Yeah.
landlords.
Yep.
I think, we want to get in front of landlords and ask the questions ourselves too, why, and then like talk about how the data doesn't support that, or really you're guaranteed these payments. I think a lot of times they just don't understand it or don't want to take the time to understand it.
There's an attitude there.
Yeah, definitely.
It is hard to change minds, right? And it's hard to change my mind. And so I think policy is one way to go about effecting change that then can lead to more societal attitudinal change. Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Yeah, this is great. Let's sing together one last time. Hymn number 1028 in your teal hymnal, if you have them, or here on the wall. The fire of commitment. Please rise in body or spirit.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living brings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
So we've gone a little long today. It's a good thing there's no Packer game. The work of Sophia is how we carry the vision, the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. into our lives and into the future. We will hold a social justice council meeting here after a brief time for coffee and conversation downstairs. We'll reconvene here, let's say, shortly before noon, like maybe try to make it 5 minutes to noon. We'll reconvene for a social justice council here where we will talk about the justice work of this congregation. After Alex's postlude, please again enjoy some coffee and conversation downstairs. And when you go, as always, go in love, seek justice, find peace.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I bright, blessed day and the dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Thank you.